Hey everybody, CW here, Card Wolf, because I'm always on the hunt for great comics. That's right, I'm going to do a comic book episode today. I haven't done one for a few weeks, and I'm doing this one in response. This is I guess, a VR response to Cole's comic claims and Bearded Comic Bro. They are doing a VR for spooky comic book covers since it is October and Halloween is coming up. And as soon as I heard that one, I was like, I can totally do that. I love spooky comics, and I'm always excited for Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. So this was an easy one for me to want to get involved in. If you haven't been over to Cole's Comic Claims, I will leave a link in the description box down there, and you can check out his channel. Cole is a fantastic guy. He's a really positive guy, really wonderful guy to get to know and talk to. I really like Cole a lot. And he's got a great channel. He doesn't just do comics. He certainly shows you a lot of comics, but at least once a week he opens cards as well. He's really gotten into that too, and he's been opening some good stuff, and he even lets you vote on what you want him to open, which I think is pretty novel. I like that a lot. So check out Cole's Comic Claims. And Bearded Comic Bro also has a good channel as well. If you haven't checked out his channel, he focuses on comics and is a really friendly guy. I will link to him as well. You can check that out. So their VR was spooky comic book covers, and boy, have I got some of those to show you. You have to do 10, and so I've got 10 for you. And I've also got an honorable mention, which Cole did in his countdown. He had an honorable mention, so he got to have 11, and my honorable mention is going to come in the middle. I'm going to do that after I do like number 6 or number 5 or something like that. And you can see what that is. So anyway, we'll get to this. First one is this one. This is a great Halloween cover. It is Batman the Brave and the Bold, and this is based upon the Brave and the Bold animated series that was on the air probably about 5 or maybe 8 years ago, something like that. And this is just a great cover, very creepy. It's got the Halloween pumpkin down here. It's got Zatanna and Batman and some devil-looking figure. This is an animated style comic, and this is a really good issue of this. Zatanna and Batman basically kind of get introduced and exposed to all of the occult type characters in the DC universe. So they start out there, they go into the House of Mystery, and then they meet Deadman, and they meet the Spectre, and Clarion the Witch Boy, and all these other great characters from the DC universe. And this is sort of a kid's comic. It is rated E for everyone, so it's it's pretty tame, and it's a lot of fun. A really good issue of this, and a really nice, creepy Halloween cover. I like that a lot. Of course, Batman, has been around for a long time, so there are a ton of creepy Batman covers. And the first few that I have to show you are Batman, and this is the first one. And then the next one is actually a cover to a trade paperback collection of a bunch of sort of creepy Halloween-themed comics that the writer Jeff Loeb and the illustrator, the late Tim Sale, did together before they did the famous Batman Long Halloween miniseries, which is one of the best Batman books, in my opinion anyway, one of the best Batman books that has ever been done. And these early stories that they did are quite good. This is a really cool, creepy cover. You've got the villains that Batman is dealing with here, all kind of in a haunted house with creepy looking pumpkins and whatnot. Of course, there's the Scarecrow. You got to have him in there, and the Mad Hatter is up there. It's a really good book, and really can't recommend this enough. It's a great collection of really good work by two great comic creators, Loeb and Tim Sale. And if you have never read Batman the Long Halloween, I can absolutely recommend that too. That is a wonderful collection. And this is the last Batman one. This is from Detective Comics. It's Detective Comics 671, and this is from, I think, 1994. And it's got all of the scary monsters on there, Frankenstein, the Mummy, and Wolfman, and then Batman in the middle. And this is during the Night Quest story arc, which, is not the best story arc. It has not aged well, I'll put it that way. At the time, it seemed kind of interesting and sort of exciting. Batman himself here kind of looks like Dracula with the cape and the wings coming up there and whatnot. And it's a really cool cover. The story is by Chuck Dixon, and that's usually a great sign. But, the story isn't actually great. If you go out and try to buy this issue, you're really just buying it for the really cool cover. The story is not going to it's not going to really light it up for you. The art is really good inside, though. Graham Nolan does the art, and he's a very good artist. So I really like that cover. I think it's perfect for the season, and it is certainly nice and creepy. And if you saw this on the newsstand back in 1994, how could you resist that? Batman goes up against all of the scary monsters from the movies. That is pretty awesome. So that is let's see what we did there, 10, 9, 8. So that is number 8. Number 7 is kind of random cover, but I thought it was one of the creepier ones that I had. This is Journey into Mystery from Marvel, and they have a ton of creepy covers for Journey into Mystery, but I really liked, I chose this one just because it's a writer sitting at his desk with an old typewriter, and he gets attacked by a very creepy, gigantic insect who has lots of teeth and pincers and all that good stuff. So I don't know, just kind of, I'm not sure why. Maybe because I spend so much time at my desk in front of the computer, and I thought, why not? Though I don't usually not wear a shirt at my desk. I don't know what is quite going on there with him just kind of sitting there in shorts. Maybe it was a hot day. I'm not sure. But that's kind of a... I mean, I never wear a shirt when I'm doing the show. Like right now, definitely not wearing a shirt. Never wear a shirt when I'm doing the Card Wolf show. But yeah, during my job, I usually wear a shirt. I mean, you kind of have to when you have, video calls and stuff. You can't just show up shirtless and be like, oh, hi, President Cooper. How you doing? It doesn't work that way. President Cooper is not one of my clients. I have no idea where I came up with that. The next one, number 6, is Spider-Woman, and I have a lot of Spider-Woman covers. She's one of my favorite characters, and I really mainly put this in here as sort of fan service for Gary B, the casual comic guy, because Gary B is a huge Spider-Woman fan, and I knew that if I did a comic episode, Gary would probably check it out. And so, Gary, this one's for you, and I think it's a really good choice for Spider-Woman. It's a really creepy cover. You actually, despite the name of this character, you don't usually see a lot of spider webs on her cover, and she looks really creepy and sinister, and she's just talking about your darkest nightmares. Pretty awesome stuff. I think that's a really nice creepy cover, and I sure like that character a lot. I like Spider-Woman a lot, and I've collected her books for quite a long time. This is number 5 from back in 1978, I believe. So there is creepy cover number 6, and I believe that means it's time for my honorable mention book, which is not a comic book technically. It is actually this really very, very creepy role-playing game. This is Nordic Horror Role-Playing, as you can see by the cover there. And this is a beautiful, this is the cloth-bound limited edition version of this, but you can still find this role-playing book on Amazon. It's pretty easy to get in the normal edition. It's Vesen, and it is from a Norwegian publisher, and they do really amazing work. I actually got this through their Kickstarter. I'm on their news list, or whatever you call it. So whenever they have a new product coming out, I hear about it, and I'm always very excited to do so because the quality of their products is just amazing. The art in here is by Johan Egerkrans, as you can see, and he is just outrageously talented, and this is a truly creepy RPG book. I mean, it just has amazing illustrations in it all throughout. It's really weird, and just kind of, those are some of the character classes you could see as we went through there, and then it kind of tells you how to play the game. You get to play chess with death. I mean, that's going to go out well for you, I'm sure. And it's just great. It's a really very, very neat and interesting game, and the illustrations, even if you never play the game, the illustrations are just beautiful all the way through this. It's a really wonderful book just to page through and kind of dip into now and then if you just kind of want to, read a little bit or just look at the illustrations. It's really, you can see some of the monsters back here are illustrated quite nicely, and they're really weird and totally creepy. So as far as showing something spooky as my honorable mention, this was a perfect excuse to get this book off the shelf and show it to you, because I think it's really creepy and I really love it. I'm so glad that I ended up getting a copy of this. And if you like role-playing or you just like really creepy stuff, this might be for you. Cole is really into horror comics and horror stuff, so I think that's something that he might like. And Cole, if you want to ask me more about that, you certainly should. I'm happy to talk more about that. So that was my honorable mention. We'll get back to the top 10. I've got 5 more to show you, and we will get going with that. This is Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and this is the Beyond Comics edition. I think this is number 1. I can't remember, but this is the Beyond Comics edition, and you can kind of see that is pretty freaky. The modern day, and I'm going to take this out to show you the regular cover. This is the Beyond Comics edition, which is that cover, but they actually have the regular cover inside that you can see, and that's just as creepy in my opinion. I mean, check that out. That is some creepy stuff there. And this is based sort of on the Sabrina the Teenage Witch Netflix series, which is a very grown-up take on Sabrina, and is definitely not for kids, and it's definitely not lighthearted the way that you probably remember the Archie comic books and whatnot as being when you were a kid. It's very grown up these days. So if you've never seen that show, you can probably just watch the first couple episodes and you'll know if you like it or not. And that's more or less what the comics are like. They're pretty grim in a lot of places, and definitely spooky and very weird. So number 4 for me is this. This is just a bizarre cover. I had to include it. It is definitely creepy and weird. This is the first edition, or the first issue rather, of Victorian Undead, which is this weird book that Wildstorm DC Comics did about I don't know, about 15 years ago or so, maybe even older than that, but January 2010, there you go. So it's like 22 years ago. No, 12 years ago. Cardwolf can't do math. You guys already know that. This is not news to anyone. In any event, it's from a while ago, and Sherlock Holmes as a zombie. I bet you've never seen that before, or if you have, you've probably never seen it so graphically illustrated as this. So anyway, Sherlock Holmes is not actually a zombie in this. He's actually chasing after zombies and trying to eradicate them in this. It's actually a really interesting comic if you've never read it before. It's actually pretty well done. It sounds like it would, that concept, you can imagine it would maybe be a little cheesy or something, but it's actually pretty well done. They did a good job with this, and I think that cover is just very memorable and very creepy cover. For sure. So that was 4, I think, or no, that was 5, 4. So yeah, we got 3 more left. Number 3 is a book I really love. This is called Coffin Hill, and this is no longer in print. This came out about 10 years ago as well. This is issue number 1, and it is one of the creepier covers. The main character there is laying on the ground, getting her guts eaten by crows. So that's pretty creepy, I think. This book, unfortunately, didn't last that long. I think it only went on for maybe a couple of years, something like that. Really good book. Basically, a young woman goes back to her hometown, which is in this sort of creepy part of New England, and they perform some sort of weird ritual in the woods, and then she wakes up and everybody's dead and she's covered with blood, and kind of goes from there. Really, I'm not doing it justice, though. It's much more interesting than that. There are a lot of interesting factors in the book, and I really liked it quite a lot. If you've never read it, it is collected in trade paperback form, and this is what that looks like. This is the trade paperback, as you can see. And I think there are 3 of them. There's at least 2, and I think there might be 3. It's a really quite a very interesting and good book. I can definitely recommend that, Coffin Hill, and it's definitely creepy and spooky. That is for sure. So number 2, and I had a hard time choosing which cover for number 2. I really like, and I've shown you some of these before, but I really like the old Teen Titans books. I think that these are just amazing covers, and this one is especially creepy. I grabbed 2 of them, and this one I think is really creepy. I mean, good heavens. Ghastly, awful versions of the heroes, Wonder Girl and Robin there with Malcolm. And Robin, don't go through that door, buddy. There is some creepy, spooky stuff waiting there for you. And the other one that I was choosing between is this one. The title of this issue was Intruder of the Forbidden Crypt. I mean, that's pretty creepy there. They're coming up the stairs, and heaven knows what they're going to get into there. So I really like the old Teen Titans books a lot. And a lot of the covers, I believe Nick Carty was the artist for a lot of these covers. And a lot of them are just... they're really just like weird and creepy, and they have very sort of horrific elements to them, like you see here. There were several others I could have chosen out of my collection for this, but these were the 2 that I thought were probably the creepiest in any event. So the number 1, a spookiest cover, and this might be a little too on the nose, I'll be honest with you, but the number 1 spookiest cover for me is this next book that I'm going to show you, and it is Dracula, A Symphony in Moonlight and Nightmares by John J. Muth. And this is a really beautiful book. It's oversized, as you can see. It is bigger, by quite a bit actually than a normal comic, and it is like a big sort of paperback volume that came out. This came out, I think, in '86, if I'm remembering correctly. And John J. Muth is a crazy talented artist, really, really talented guy. He's done a lot of work in comics, and this was his own project that he wanted to do, where he actually takes things from the original Bram Stoker text and just kind of draws, and paints in a way that is just extremely evocative. Just the art in here is just really, really beautiful. It's all watercolor stuff that he did, and some really just beautiful and amazing art. I mean, look at that spread. That is something else there. And I say that not just because there's a wolf on the page. I mean, that's just beautiful. So if you've never seen this book, if you like, and this, I guess this is more of maybe a graphic novel than a comic. I'm not quite sure what this would be classified as, but it is, it's well worth your time to pick up if you like Dracula or you just like beautiful art. This is a book that I think you will be very happy to own. And this on the back is really a beautiful image too. They actually made a poster out of this, and it was really just a beautiful poster. You probably still find it. I guess if you looked on eBay, you might be able to find it. I'm not sure. But in any event, those are my 10 creepiest covers, plus the, of course, the honorable mention that I had of Wesen, which I think is really just an amazing RPG book. If you have any interest in that, I think you'll really enjoy that. So thank you so much for coming by the channel today. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this isn't the usual kind of fare that I generally tend to do on the channel, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you guys have a really good weekend. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. My son's going to a birthday party. There's a family thing, and tonight we're having dinner with the neighbors. There's way too much stuff going on this weekend for my taste, but I don't get to make the schedule. I just go do the things that I'm told to do. So that's how it works in my world. Have a good time, whatever you're being told to do or whatever you decide you want to do, whatever that may be. I want to remind you that next week is Dorking with Dice Week, The Return. It's the return of Dorking with Dice Week, or Dorking with Dice Strikes Back, depending upon how you want to look at it. Either way, we're doing Dorking with Dice all week next week. We're going to start out with Monday and Tuesday. We'll probably do baseball and football, and then Wednesday or Thursday we'll have a battle. We'll have a pack battle with Average Joe, the way we always do, highlight of my week. And then we'll come back and do Dorking with Dice on ice. That's right, an all hockey box of vintage packs for us to open in honor of the NHL season starting here in North America next week. And then next Friday, a week from today, we will be doing a double Dorking box, which will be mind-blowing. That's all I really have to say about that. It's going to be amazing. I look forward to seeing you there. And once again, I appreciate you coming by today. Have a great weekend. And as always, happy collecting.